Okay, guys, well, welcome. We can get started. My name's Patrick. I run the marketing department here at Art Storefront's been doing that for about, I don't know, going on almost 6 years now, I would say. So, seen a lot over that period of time, a lot of interesting changes in the art and photography selling markets. But let's get into the agenda for today. And April, will you remember to admit people where I'm going? So normally what I do is, what we used to do is play a video up front that would kind of take you through a high level demo, who we are, what we do, kind of a thing. We've just recently completely updated the page, and so I'll go through it at a high level, kind of talk about who we are, what we do, hopefully put to bed some of the misconceptions because it's just so significantly more than just a website, which I'll get into in a minute. And then I can talk broadly about kind of what's transpired over the course of 2020, what we think's coming down the pike in 2021, especially as we continue to sort of live in this one foot in, one foot out pandemic world that we're in. Open, closed, open, closed, open, closed. And then most importantly, open it up to your questions. I'd love to hear about where you are in your business, what's working or not working. Have you gotten started? Have you figured out whether or not your art will sell? Are you marketing it? Are you running sales? And potentially, how can we help in any of those areas, any of those departments? So that will be the agenda. If you're watching on YouTube, watching on Facebook, as I know a bunch of you are, if you've got questions, I will, of course, answer them live. You can go ahead and just leave a question, and I will get to it immediately. But let's jump in as I pull up my screen share here. I got to do that. Remember to do this twice. We literally just updated this homepage because, you know, we become sort of a completely different company pre and post COVID, I would say. Let me just get this going. Okay, there it is. And April will put the new homepage that we have here in the chat, but it's basically it's a really good way to quickly get just a high level idea who we are, what we do. Each of the videos, I think they're all me, which is a little bit too much me, but anyway, I go through everything at a high level. I give you a brief highlight about which one each are, and how they all work. So I'll kind of just tease my way down the page here quickly and give it to you, sort of at a high level. But you know, our tagline now is everything you need to start, run, and grow a successful art business, and that's what we believe it is. You know, fundamentally, we are a business that succeeds or fails on how successful our customers are, and we didn't really know that in the beginning. You know, good 3 or 4 or 5 years ago, we thought we could just sell software and we would be awesome, and that would be awesome. Turns out that's not the case. Turns out that a website is not enough. And, you know, Shopify's got this stat that who knows how true it is, but it's close to it, that 99% of Shopify store owners fail. And sort of the point in it is that, or the takeaway, I should say, is that a website is not enough. It's just not enough. Meaning, it doesn't matter if it's us or Squarespace or any of the rest of them out there. If you just picked your business up, dropped it right down on top of that new website platform, you're not automatically going to be making a ton of sales and making a ton of money if that was not the case previous. But that being said, we can get into the website. We have what we believe is the most advanced website product on the market. We don't think that's hyperbole. We don't really have any direct competitors that focus 100% just on the business of selling art and photography. Turns out selling art and photography, especially online, I guess Christmas is over, so I can't really go in the Christmas mood. Who am I feeling like highlighting today? I'm going to go with the dude. It's not like selling other items, not like selling ladies' handbags or golf clubs or swim fins or electric scooters. It is a high friction, and I'll get to the friction in a second, and then also highly visual process buying art online. And the friction, what I mean by that term is that anything that can get in the way from a potential buyer coming to your site and then getting stopped before they pull out the credit card and make the buying decision. There is a tremendous amount of friction in how art looks, how it's presented visually, and ultimately how it sells. And we just have a suite of features that no one else has, a ton of them. And all of them are by design to attempt to eliminate friction in the art buying process, right? And it's little things like, you know, when you switch the media type, the piece switches to what it is. Like we're looking at canvas, and so it switches to canvas. It would be the same if I did wood or metal or acrylic. You know, most buyers do not have any idea of the subtle differences between a canvas print or a metal print or an acrylic print or a wood print. So we've got merchandising videos built in automatically for you that show the customer what it looks like, the depth, the fact that it's ready to hang instantaneously. Again, extremely visual process buying art. So we have what's called the wall preview, and you can cycle through various different rooms. And yes, we have some rather generic looking images here on purpose, but you can upload your own if you are so inclined. And you allow people to play with the sizes, all the sizes that you offer. You allow them to change the color of their walls. Maybe their conference room. Ooh, that's an ugly looking conference room. That would bore me. That's a little bit more reasonable. So again, a friction point in art is getting them to make the visual decision right there on the spot. So the wall preview is incredibly helpful. One of the features that we get a lot of acclaim for is what's called live preview with AR. It's this little camera icon, and I've got a video here. This is really cool. What it allows you to do is, I got to mute this. I'll hear myself twice. So somebody can be on your website with their cell phone. This is a real cell phone on the right-hand side, and they can view your product page, okay, holding their cell phone in their hand. It could be iPhone or Android. And they can go down and hit the live preview button, okay? And when they do, what it does is it uses the camera on the phone. You don't have to download any apps or do anything else. And it takes your piece and projects it on the wall in what's called augmented reality. So what you see there on the phone is someone's real room, might even be at my mother's house, hashtag I'm not kidding. And you can size it up, size it down with the cell phone, see if it's going to fit, see if it matches the decor, move it around, take screenshots, and they can do all of this on the cell. And they can do this if they're on their own, or if you're in a consultative sales mode, you can say, hey, Catherine, will you pull your phone out and stand 6 feet from the wall in question? I'll show you this right now on the phone, probably not the cell phone you're on, and we can talk about exactly what it's going to look like. You can take screenshots and see how it's going to go on your wall. So we have just a myriad of features. I mean, so many that I can't even begin to tell you. And I've been doing this, e-commerce / internet marketing thing for a long, long time. And everyone, when you have like a new website feature or this feature or that feature, everyone always is drawn naturally to the snazzy, sexy ones. And so I show those at the top, right? The wall preview, the line preview with AR. But what you find when you actually analyze years and years and years of art sales is it's never any one feature. It's sort of like, you got to build a team that helps you sell art. And each feature is a member of the team. And when you just have all of these players on the field and the game starts, you're not sure which player is going to step up and help you out. But it turns out it could just be something as simple as email a friend, or it could be something as simple as a favorites section, or any of the other myriad of features. We have hundreds of them, which is why we do the demo process. What happens when you request a demo? Somebody from our outreach team will call you on the phone, 10-minute exploratory call, who you are, what you do, what's working, would you be a good fit, do you want to schedule a demo? But that's what we do, and it's like an hour Zoom call where they walk through like literally everything. So next up, as we sort of scroll down, I got to get back to my screen share here, so bear with me. As we scroll down the page, where am I? Here I am. So that's the website, ton of features, incredible. We have a bunch of back-end features too. Again, not sexy features, but what happens when you upload an image? Does it automatically give you all the sizes that are available? Are you able to toggle that on and off? What about markups? How quickly can you set markups? Can you set them globally? Can you set them individually? Can you list an original, a limited edition, and the prints all on the same page, or any combination thereof? There's a whole range of nuanced stuff that exists in the art and photography business. And we provide a ton of back-end features that'll just save you a bunch of time and all of that, so you're not wasting time on admin. We do automated print and merchandise fulfillment. And I'll get back on Bill's side so I can show you this. Every option's available, number one. So if you're somebody that's selling originals, obviously you would ship and fulfill the originals yourself. You're in possession of them. If you have a local printer that you like and you want to keep using the local printer, well, that's totally fine too. We offer that as an option. It's called self-fulfillment. Order comes in, you send that order to your local printer, they ship it and fulfill it, no problem at all. But we also integrate with a couple of print partners, and let me just go back to it. So Graphic Dimensions on the East Coast, Bay Photo on the West Coast, print partner here in Canada, and then Guten, which is the merchandise, which I'll get to in a second. But what happens is somebody likes a piece, the order goes through, you get paid, the printer gets paid, the printer prints the order, boxes it, slaps your logo on the side of the box, and ships it. You don't have to touch anything. And I mean, not a thing. And that's by design. We advocate that everybody goes with that because, any time spent on your part. Worrying about the shipping and the fulfillment and the printing, if you don't have to, is not a good use of your time. You need that time to focus on your marketing and growing your business. And then just recently, about a month ago, we integrated with a company called Guten, which allows the merchandise. It's one of the biggest merchandise companies in the entire world. And it gives you the ability for hooded sweatshirts and phone cases, and throw pillows, and tote bags and mugs, a whole range of different stuff. And you can run any of this, some of this, none of this. You can see in Bill's instance here, he's running all of them on one page, right? So here's this image of El Deuterino for him. And it could just as easily be on Canvas as it could on a phone case. If that's how you'd like to run it, fantastic. If you prefer to just have a phone case in the store, you can do that. If you prefer to have the art, which are all prints, and then just a couple of merch items, you can have that too. But what's cool is that it's just one click, it's switched on, it's good to go. And I saw some really interesting things for him especially. And I've been saying this on a couple of my calls, but the merch happened right in the middle of the Christmas season, and there's a lot of people that follow this guy because he's been marketing for 15 years, and he actually sold a whole bunch of these throw pillows, right? He decided to paint a Santa Claus, not normally what he does, but he did it. And a whole bunch of people thought these would be cool little Christmas decoration add-ons. And so he was able to add some significant revenue to his business. I mean, I saw multiple orders of like 4 and 6 pillows. And so you have the ability to run merch if you so desire. If you don't, that's all good. You don't have to at all. That's the print integration. Our support is amazing. No one really likes looking at support or talking about support. I love talking about support because the last thing I need is you stuck on some sort of annoying, lame tech issue where you're searching a forum or you're searching Google or your hair is going gray or you're pulling it out of your head. Nobody needs to be doing that. So we have support in all the facets you would imagine: email, phone, chat. But we also do live calls, exactly like the one you're on now. There's Zoom sessions, and they are literally 6 days a week, including Saturdays. And so if you've got a tech issue, you pop into a Zoom call like this. We have multiple operators. You say, I'm going to raise my hand. Here's my question. You have the ability to share your screen. We have the ability to take over control of your machine and get the thing fixed immediately, which is amazing. And then we just added, as well as those Zoom sessions, which again, 6 days a week, we also support marketing. So if you're having a Facebook problem, or you're having an Instagram problem, or you're having a Facebook ads problem, or a MailChimp problem, or you can't figure out your email service provider, you can jump onto one of these sessions and say, hey, I'm having a problem with this. Can you help me? And our tech support actually supports those applications now, which I think is tremendous. I don't know of any other company that does that. So I'm really proud of that as a feature. Anyway, I know support. Get on with it. Nobody likes to talk about support. Okay, let's keep rolling. All of those features too, the support, the back end features, how easy we make selling art and photography. The whole point of it is to free up as much time. Why? Because artists and photographers all have a marketing problem. This is especially true if you're just getting started. It's still incredibly true if you've crossed the $2,000 threshold of sales online. And guess what? It's equally true if you sold over $500,000 a year. Everyone has a marketing problem, an immense one. And so if there's a secret sauce to what we do, it's this. And it's essentially, it's an art business university, for lack of a better term. It's what we started. There's online education, best in class, step-by-step audio video tutorials on how to do absolutely everything. They're made by myself and my team. We have more information on how art sells online than just about anybody. Over 4,500 customers. We know what works, and so we teach you how to do things, how to have a live art show, how to run ads on Facebook, how to execute a sales campaign, how to execute a Christmas sale, the language. You don't even have to write the language. We give you email templates and what you should put in the social media. All you're doing is just following the tutorial and adjusting it for taste. We have a 365-day-a-year marketing calendar, and it tells you verbatim from beginner, intermediate, and advanced what to do week in, week out, day out, all year long. And we have a vast majority of our customers that follow it near verbatim to the best of their ability. We have some that color a little bit outside of the lines, which is okay. They know what they're doing. They adjust things to taste, but it's there for you. So you're never wondering what I should be working on. And equally important to the what I should be working on, and I say this all the time because it's important. I'm not even sharing my screen. I just realized. Sorry about that. What you're working on, equally important to that is what you need to ignore the shiny objects your friends told you were going to sell a bunch of art and photography that we know do not sell art and photography, because I got the data on 4,500 customers and no one's selling any art or photography doing that, i.e. SEO, i.e. Pinterest. Huge waste of time. Do not need to do it. So we know what you need to focus on. We know what you don't need to focus on. We run workshops as well. So we essentially take the entire customer base. We split you into 3 different tiers. You're in the beginner group until you sold $2,000 online. Then you go into the intermediate group. From the intermediate group, there's a very high revenue threshold, and then you get into the advanced group. Week in, week out, every week, we have anywhere from an hour to 3-hour Zoom sessions in which we teach the calendar, we teach the playbooks, we go over some wins if somebody's done something really well, and you get asked your questions live, week in, week out. If you miss it, we have secretaries that take detailed notes of the entire thing, start to finish. And what you're able to do is just get a high level, quick timestamps, the stuff that you want to see after the fact. And it's completely and fundamentally forever changed our business. Video is the most efficient way to get people to take action, to get people unstuck, to build bonds, to be able to learn with your peers and see the wins, see the struggles that they have, realize, oh my gosh, I'm not the only one in this. I'm not alone in this world. This is really confusing to me too, right? And then also, if somebody had a big win, they sold 35 pieces to an interior decorator, $12,000 order, you can see the social media post that did it. They share it. They give you the link. They send you the email text. And so it's been a phenomenal way to get customers to actually take action on their marketing, where that with just digital online education, that was really hard to do before. So the workshops are incredible. Once you start, they never stop, because the goalposts that are marketing in today's day and age are being moved so rapidly all the time. It's really not even fair. So you need something like that. No one likes learning in a vacuum. Go your own pace, no help. So it's just been a tremendous game changer for us. And so we finished the Art Business University up with a private Facebook group. It's highly curated, highly adjusted. You know, many of you are members of other groups, other photography groups online, or artist groups online. And, you know, a lot of times there's just nonsense in there. There's people that are trying to sell you things. There's a tremendous amount of negativity. So it's nice to have a curated group of people that are all working towards growing their businesses, that are in all niches imaginable, in all parts of this country and others. And it really gives you a great opportunity to say, hey, am I on the right track with this, guys? Hey, what do you think about this? If somebody got a win, they'll post it in there. You can go and follow and copy what they did. So collectively, that's the Art Business University. And then to finish it all off, just recently, we launched an in-house marketing agency solely focused, I should say, on selling art and photography. It's all it does, nothing else. And we served a little bit over 275 of our customers so far, I believe. And we'll help you do things. We will set up your Instagram, set up your Facebook. If those are already set up, we will tune them up to best practices, which no one follows. So incredibly helpful one-off service. We'll build your entire website for you. Don't want to do it, don't want to touch a thing, just want to drop a bunch of images in a folder and names and say, build it for me, we'll do that. We'll manage sales campaigns. We'll manage your Facebook ads. And what's incredible about it is I now have an army of marketing associates and, you know, more advanced level marketing types that are just working on selling art and photography all day long across a whole bunch of different customers. And so what that's doing is giving us a tremendous amount of learnings. The learnings get baked back into the playbooks. They get taught on the Zoom sessions. And so even if you never use the agency for a single solitary thing, it's actively learning on your behalf and making our education product better, our marketing product better, getting you guys into a better place to sell your art and photography. So pretty exciting. I think already, and I don't think this is hyperbole, I think 4 months in, just given the circumstances that we are, and maybe we're 5 months now, it's the biggest art and photography selling specific marketing agency that exists that we're aware of, because there's not any of them out there. Selling art and photography is really hard, and we're uniquely positioned to be good at it because we're very good at digital marketing and have been for a long time. And we've got the data, you know, I think we're like 4,700 customers now on what works, we know. And so we just build it back into our systems, and those are the services that we offer. So, you know, I would say our customer base is like a standard 80-20. It's called Pareto's Law. But in this case, 80% are not full-time artists or photographers. They have either a full-time job, or if they're a photographer, they have a service-based side of their business. They're attempting to grow their fine art business. And so we get that in a lot of those situations, you don't have time to work on the marketing 100%. You need some help here and there. And so, the marketing agency can just be thought of as a store. Like, you can go in there and buy one-off things. You can go in there and buy services. And if you're in a position where you want your business to grow faster than it would if you were doing the work yourself, you can go right into that store, grab something off the shelf, and get it going. So we think it's sort of like a natural evolution of where our business needs to go. If we want successful customers, we need to empower them to move as quickly as possible in their marketing and take advantage of the new world that we're living in right now. It sounds like hyperbole. It's not. The new world we're living in right now, where the offline revenue sources are not coming back anytime soon. Galleries, shows, fairs, in-person, anything. And to make it, to be successful, you need to have an effective marketing plan. You need to do, and you need to be working on it. So, yeah, that's what I would say. That's art storefronts in a bundle, in a bag, in a nutshell, if you like. So, yeah, that's what I would say. And I would say too that, we're essentially at the very last week, right, of Q4, and this Q4 for us has been the biggest we've ever seen. This pandemic situation has been a boon, a windfall, for lack of a better term. It's created winners and losers, this particular season of life that we're in right now, this dumpster fire, if you will. And art falls into the home decor category. Home decor has been doing extremely, extremely well. Everyone's spending more time at home. People are leaving the cities for the suburbs. Home sales are through the roof. More white walls are being created. More people are moving into them. People are not going back to work. They're staying working at home. They're finally sick enough of their house to do something about it. And so we saw sales absolutely explode, and an incredibly encouraging thing, I would say, just at a macro. And, it might sound, I don't know, a little cynical to say like, oh, things are going so good, it's exploding across the board. It's not for everybody, right? It's not for everybody. You have to actively be working on your marketing, which doesn't make it easy. But at the same time, selling art and photography, being an artist, yes, the offline revenue sources are essentially toast, but online is exploding, and the demand has just been increasing. And so you have increasing demand on one hand, more people buying art and photography, and then you have a decrease in the available venues to acquire it, right? The galleries are closed. No one's going into them. The show and fair circuit is not happening. And so, you have this, you have this kind of crazy opportunity that exists. And you need to start working on your marketing. And in many ways, it's just so doggone empowering for artists and photographers, because before you were dealing with either 50-50 revenue splits or 60-40 revenue splits in the gallery situation. And if you were doing the shows and fairs, which, by the way, we were tremendous advocates of pre-pandemic, booth fees, loading up the car, on your feet 8 hours a day, staying in a hotel, driving home, tired on Monday, not working on your marketing. So there's some incredible advantages to this situation that we're in now. But again, you've got to work on your marketing. You have to have an email list. You have to be marketing regularly. You have to have your art on a website that can sell. And there's a lot to navigate there, which is why we exist. It's what we do. And we think our business model of the artist owning everything, selling direct, retaining their customer data, being able to market to those customers in perpetuity is particularly important at all times. Obviously, massively important now in this pandemic situation that we're in, but will continue to be so in the future, right? Like, I've been running these calls. I mean, this has got to be like the 75, 80, maybe even 100 of them. And it's been depressing in many levels. You have so many people that were doing so well, surviving, thriving on the gallery model, surviving, thriving in the show and fair circuit model. And then you all of a sudden get the rug ripped right out from underneath you for no fault of your own. And you realize that, like, you can't be reliant on anything else. You can't have all your eggs in one basket. If you had a retirement account, it would not be in one stock, right? And, completely reliant on the gallery model or completely reliant on the shows and fairs is just having all of your eggs in that one basket. And it's just not a recipe for success, certainly not a recipe for long-term success. So that's what I'd say. I believe that, this next year, 2021, it's just going to be more of the same for a while. Hopefully all this vaccine situation clears things up and we get back to normal sooner rather than later, but people are going to be gun shy for a while. Things are not going to come back immediately. And, I think if you start taking your marketing seriously and you get the right business model in place, I haven't even mentioned the fact that the pandemic has basically truncated, depending which expert you talk to, 10 years of what would have been normal steady growth in e-commerce adoption in the United States and across the world for that matter. And it's taken that 10 years and shrunk it into 3 months. And that's what pretty much everyone's saying, right? 10 years into 3 months or 3 weeks, however you want to look into it. But e-commerce growth specifically has just been, I mean, it's been ridiculous. And we've been in this pandemic situation where people continue to order things online and they order more and they order more. It's way past becoming a habit. And so even if I waved the magic wand and everything went back to normal tomorrow, I still think we would be in a situation where e-commerce penetration is just so much higher than it ever was before. So if you don't have the ability to sell your art, your photography in an e-commerce capacity on a site that works, you're extremely hindering your ability to grow a successful art or photography business in this next year. So those are sort of our larger themes, our larger ideas on where everything's going. And yeah, I guess at that point I will open it up to Q&A. And so you can leave a comment in the chat. You can leave a comment on Facebook. Diana, I see you did. I'll answer that in a second. You can raise your hand like Barbara has here. If you click participants, which is on the bottom of your Zoom bar, there's a little bar down there, I think 3 buttons, somewhere down there at the bottom where you can raise your hand. That lets me know you have a question. If you want to do the old school raise your hand, we can certainly do those too. And if you don't want to be on video, don't worry. You don't have to be on video. I hate being on video. I totally get it. You can just answer your question in audio. But we'll start with Barbara. Go ahead, Barbara, first. And you'll have to unmute your mic, Barbara. I'll let you know when you get it. Bottom left-hand corner, mouse down to that thing. Yep, you got it.
Okay. You hearing me now?
Yep, gotcha.
Okay. Thank you for the discussion. It's very interesting. My question is this: if a potential customer, someone just randomly looking for artwork, would they happen onto your website and then be able to see the various artists that are there?
No.
Or
no.
Okay, so customers are okay. So customers get to your website through your own individual marketing. Okay.
Correct.
And then I had another quick question. How do we determine how much your print company would charge to make various prints from our image?
There's complete pricing sheets that list literally everything.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. That was my question. Then I also had questions, of course, about your pricing and how much it would cost to have you build my website.
Yes, absolutely. Honestly, like we, I said like 4 months ago we did the agency thing, and you don't know what you don't know, right? Especially in marketing, you have to test your assumptions, hypothesis, all that. And so we started this thing, and then we've been leading with this, like, we'll build the website for you. And do you know how everyone says like top 3 fears in life: death, taxes, and public speaking? I am changing it. It is now death, taxes, and building a website for artists and photographers. It is the third most. It has gone up. It has gone up the chain. People hate it. I totally get it. I totally get it. It's annoying.
Well, and that leads me to another quick question.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to fog things here, but
no, go ahead.
I already have a website.
Yes.
And it's time for me to pay my yearly fee for my website. So, and I have literally thousands of flyers and business cards out there with my website.
Oh yeah, so the website doesn't change. So we are an artist, a photographer owns everything. What do I mean? It's your URL, okay? It's your email list. It's essentially all your SEO too. So what happens is that, let's say your domain lives at GoDaddy and it's barbaraart.com. All you do is just take it, point it from that old site to the new site, and nothing changes. You don't lose anything.
Okay. Yeah. Good. Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Okay, next up is Enrico. Go ahead, Enrico.
Hey, Patrick.
How's it going, man?
Good. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Exhausted from the weekend, but alive.
Nice. Man, I love what you guys are doing. Great information here on the Zoom. So thank you for
thanks for saying that. Yeah, thanks for saying that.
It's awesome. You got 4,700 customers. It's really dope.
Yeah, but that was years of grinding.
Yeah, no, I get it. I see it. Yeah, I love it. And so my question is, so I currently have a Shopify website.
Yes.
I'm doing most of my sales through posting on Facebook, kind of marketing that way. And essentially none of my sales are going through my website. They're all just, more reaching out to me. I'm kind of handling DMs and commissions. Um, so I guess one of the questions is I have a Shopify and it's like 29, whatever. So I'm curious on the cost and kind of moving it over. I think your platform is obviously better for many reasons. So there's that question of just like, what would that cost to move that over?
Yep. Oh, and so you're saying if you didn't want to do any of the work and you wanted to just have our people do it?
I'm actually fine doing the work. I'm pretty proficient in building websites
Yes.
and things of that nature. So I'm fine doing that. And then I also, I guess, to like throw in a question that might be into that is I've been doing some research on NFTs, non-fungible tokens, and I'm really interested in kind of I do this digital art through Procreate, and then what you guys are talking about, I'm doing kind of a print process, and right now I'm applying, different things on top of it, like crystals and nail heads and whatnot.
Okay.
But I want to offer the NFT along with a print and kind of make it an original piece. So I was just wondering, would there be a way to integrate that, or have you seen anybody doing that on your platform? And just kind of curious of that type of
And
integration.
just so I understand you, when you're saying NFT, are you talking about crypto?
Yeah, exactly.
Like you're going to issue
having
your own token? Is that what you're saying?
well, I,
Or you want to
I'm
take it
literally
as payment? Are you saying you just want to take it as payment?
Well, I want to take it as payment, but what I want to happen is I want the buyer to also be able to own an original, kind of token that basically says like, and then they can also sell that. So they could sell the piece that they have. So it's as at right now, it's almost like a bonus.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah. It's still, and I'm a huge crypto fan. I'm a huge tech nerd, period. Hold a bunch of crypto,
Nice.
love it, followed it from day one. It's doing really well right now, actually, surprisingly. But it's just still too early on. I don't think there's enough people using it as currency, but we operate under the just ship it mantra, right? So rather than stressing about whether or not we offer it, like get it in the water, right? Start posting that it's an option, that it's available, that you will take crypto, and see if you get any bites. If you get bites, then you've got something, and you've got something to worry about. If you don't, then you're all good, right? You don't have to worry about it. So that's what I would say. In terms of that's in terms of the crypto. In terms of the Shopify, yes, I think obviously if you're selling well on the website, our website will do better than Shopify. That's not a stretch. We have more features than they do. If it's easy for you to build, we average for tech savvy folk to get live in less than 14 days. Our support is like really, really good, especially early on doing that. And then most importantly, you're going to get the marketing education, which will level you up significantly. And so our monthly fees are the same as Shopify. Our cheapest plan starts at $1,000 down, and then the monthly. And again, essentially what you're paying for with that is the entire Art Business University. You're going to have marketing training for the rest of your life as a customer, and it's going to make the biggest single solitary difference of all of it. We just know what works better than others.
So it's about $1,000 down, and then monthly, like similar to Shopify, or
yes,
what was
yes,
it?
Exactly. Depending on which plan you choose, they start at 1,000.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah, and I love it. I think it's interesting. I think there's just to go on a quick side rant of crypto. There's a number of firms or a number of ideas out there to like who owns the original. You do, and then that gets encoded into the blockchain, and then if you ever sell it, it gets re-encoded, and then you can like have a chain of custody for a piece of art. I think there's a lot of cool stuff to that. Interested to see who develops it. I'm certainly not going to. Ian, you're up next.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Enrico.
Hey, good morning, Patrick. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
I'm great, thanks. So I've got 3 questions for you, if I may.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
It's all about doing a first live sale.
Okay.
So the other day, Christmas Eve morning, I was out shooting eagles with my telephoto lens, and it died. The autofocus engine in it decided to call it a career, and I was gutted because it's an expensive piece of kit.
Is it Canon?
No, it's a Sigma 50-500.
Yeah.
It's the old Bigma lens. It's a beauty. But so I got to thinking about it, and I thought, I probably need to get myself a new lens, and where am I going to come up with the money? And then I thought, you know what? Maybe it's time to just grow a spine and do my first sale.
Totally agree.
I went and ordered a bunch of pieces on different mediums, so I've got stuff to talk to. And I've started teasing my Facebook audience, which is small. I talked to you last week. It was, I think, 230 then. And this week I'm up to about 350. So it's continuing to grow.
Good work.
And I've been joking with them about this lens and what am I going to do. So they're kind of, I think, primed for the fact that I may say, hey, guys, I'm desperate here.
Yeah.
This is Papa needs a new lens sale.
You better believe it. Yeah. You better believe it.
So the 3 questions I have about the sale are, 1, how many teases for the sale is too many? Like priming them to let it know it's coming. Obviously, 1's not enough because most people don't see your messages.
Yes.
But when am I becoming obnoxious? What advice would you give to a new?
Oh, I've got a great one too, because one of my favorite authors is this guy Stephen Pressfield, and he wrote this book about how no one reads your sh explicative, and I stole it. I stole the headline. And I changed it to nobody sees your SHI. And the takeaway, and April will put a link. I've got a YouTube video on this episode that I recorded, but we all think as human beings, as individuals that are active on social media, that we post something and everyone we know sees it, or we send an email and everyone opens it and reads it, and nothing could be further from the truth. Nobody saw it, right? Nobody saw it. In your case, the audience is small enough though, and on your personal page, I would just warm them up once, maybe twice, and I'll give you some quick trade craft. First, just say, hey guys, look to your email inboxes, look to Facebook on Monday, big announcement. And this is something you would do on a Friday, right? And so that goes over the weekend, and then Monday is the big announcement. Wednesday, Thursday is the show. Go for it. Repost the show, re-email everybody after the fact that you can. You just want everyone to see it. And, do a good show, yes, but the work is going to be in how many eyeballs you can get to that show.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
The second question of 3 is, should I follow the KISS principle and
always
look to get the sale?
Yes.
Or should I also use this opportunity when talking to people to grow my list by mentioning the free giveaway? Or am I distracting people?
Yeah, you're too much. It's too much. It's too much. Okay. Especially just knowing that this is going to be your first live broadcast. A, you're going to be terrified. B, you're probably going to run into tech support issues. Everyone does.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And C, KISS. Maybe, right?
Okay,
it works.
Cool.
So yeah.
All right. And my last question for you is, any advice for after the sale? Once the sale is done, my gut tells me there should be an opportunity to follow.
Yeah, after you just want to blitz posting the individual pieces and talking about them. Like, and if you're going to show thigh pieces, I would spend the next week and a half posting all of those thigh pieces in various different ways. Post a funny thing that shows the camera lens on the ground, busted, with like a unhappy face on a piece of paper. Help me. Get creative that way. Sure. And just post a ton. And what I'm going to do is, and this is, I'm good at marketing, okay, but I'm not the wizard of smart, and I'm not everywhere at once. So my buddy Matthew Locke, who he's in Laval in Quebec, actually, because I know you're Canadian, I can hear your accent. He is really, really good at this. Okay, like really, really good. And so what I would do is, April will put a link in the chat to the YouTube video, and April, it doesn't matter which one, any one of the live art shows. What I want you to do is look at the date from YouTube, and then I want you to go back and I want you to look at his Instagram. I want you to look at his Facebook, the preceding and the following the date, okay? And look at how on his game he is. I mean, he is on it, right? He understands. Yeah, he understands exactly.
Great.
Yeah.
Patrick, thank you so much. And April, thank you for posting the link. I appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
And good luck. And sorry about the lens. I know. I trust me. I know. I feel that pain. I can feel that pain. Okay, it's gonna go Alan, Alice, Phil, and then I'll get into some of the questions in the chat too. Go ahead, Alan.
Patrick, so my questions have to do with marketing.
Okay.
I heard you say that you don't really believe in SEO, but
I don't.
My work has primarily been sold through galleries and through gallery shows, both in the country and out. And the idea of doing sales is challenging when you have an established client base.
For sure.
People who paid $2,500, $7,500 for print are not going to be happy to see a sale on Facebook or Instagram. So I'm trying to really, when I'm looking at making this kind of switch, what I'm interested in is how it is that I can target art consultants, how it is that I can target people who are in an income level that can actually afford to buy these kind of pieces, as opposed to someone who's looking for sale for $150 or $200 that they can put up on their wall.
Right, right. Good stuff in there. Couple misconceptions that I can deconstruct for you. One, the only two brands that are never on sale, okay? Louis Vuitton and Tiffany's. In a true stroke of irony, Tiffany or Louis Vuitton is actually right now buying Tiffany's. They're the only two brands that don't discount. The higher you go up in price point, the more discounts there are, because rich people don't like paying retail. That's number one. And I've seen that across the board, and you got to get it out of your mind that those people are going to be worried that they're seeing your stuff at a discount. Number one, they're most likely not going to see it. Number two, if they did, all they're going to do is just going to make them happier. The discounting, everyone thinks in their head, they get in their head, it's like, wait a minute. I'm going to take this thing that would have been $10,000 in the store, and I'm going to discount it down to $7,500, and they paid $10,000 for it, and now it's going to go $7,500. No one says that's what you have to do. That's not what you have to do in the slightest. What you have to do is raise your prices and then have the discount. The discount is just incentive. That's all it is. It is an incentive to get humans to take action, and it is an integral part of the sale process. And I'm not kidding. I challenge you to find another brand aside from Louis Vuitton or Tiffany's that doesn't have a discount. Oh, wait, no one can think of one because there aren't any. Every single solitary other merchant that exists in the world is having sales all the time. I mean, some people tell me Tesla doesn't, but Tesla does. Tesla doesn't have this, that, or the other, but they constantly are lowering their prices on things. So you don't have to worry about it. That's a mental trap that you're going to get into that's going to block you, that's going to worry about things. And I'm telling you, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Do not let that get in your way. I tell the story all the time, and I'm going to get the virtual background. I already talked about him. He's my Canadian buddy. He has the big dog and pony shows. Okay. Yes, he has an online store, but his work is such, he does this like impasto that like pops off the canvas. It comes inches. It's on the image behind me. And he's a buddy. He's been with us forever. And so he had another show in Toronto, and, he sold $125,000 worth of art Canadian at this particular show. Okay. And we were getting ready for the show, and the marketing, the pre-marketing to the show. And this piece behind me was like the signature piece, right? It's the one that was on all of the marketing material and on the website and on everything that the gallery sent out. And it was priced the same as all of the other pieces. The way he priced them was all via sizes. And so I think this one was priced at $22,000. And all of the other pieces of the same size were $22,000. And I was like, Matthew, no way. We can't do that. Let's have a call with the gallery owner. So we get the gallery owner on the phone, and we agree. I twist her arm. I was like, we're going to price this thing at $30,000. And my numbers might be off like by 500 to 1,000 here or there. I can't remember what the exact was, but it's a concept. So we priced it at $30,000. Okay. And the show went down, and it didn't sell at the show. But one of the gallery's collectors, one of the regular collectors, was like, I'm interested in this. Maybe I'll come back and see you. So he comes back 2 weeks after the show is over, and he goes, okay, I want this piece. It didn't sell. I'm not paying $30,000 for it. I'll give you 22. And so he ended up selling it for 22. And, the lesson in there is what would he have purchased that thing for without the discount, right? Like if it was at 22, do you think he would have paid 22? Absolutely not. He would have negotiated down. The level of negotiation that goes down on art, especially as it gets more expensive, it is across the board. Rich people don't pay retail. So that was a long roundabout one, but I get fired up about that. Number two, everyone always says, right? And there's not a business in the world, and I promise I'm not picking on you because I spent years in my career thinking that there was a way that you could hack around how to only spend your time marketing to high net worth individuals, right? Because if you ask somebody, hey, who do you want to market to? You want to market to poor people, medium class people, or rich people? Unless you're running a 99-cent store, every human being on earth wants to negotiate to the freaking high net worth individuals. Problem in that is if everybody wants to do it, it by definition is going to be extremely difficult to do. The good news is that I've yet to see anyone that really has a very, very effective way of doing it from a digital targeting standpoint across the board. And once you do this long enough, you realize that there are rules. Everyone's followers are a bell curve, and it's just full stop. There's the bottom of the bell curve, have no money, are never going to buy anything, but they'll love and share and comment and like on things. And then you've got the middle class, and then on the other end of the bell curve, you've got the upper class of people that you're after. The only way that you attract more of the upper class people is just by working on your marketing and raising that bar up, raising that bar up, raising that bar up. Yes, you're going to get more of the low end people. Yes, you're going to get more of the middle end people, but you're also going to get a ton more of the high end people. And that's how it happens. And so what happens is once you start in on active marketing, once you're doing it effective, once you have the right plan in place, you just create this inertia, this energy, this motion. And the sales never come where you think they're going to come from, but they come. I'll give you an example. Gal on the call. On one of these Zoom calls was like, she had a big win. She posted it in the Facebook group. We're like, can you come on and tell the story? She's like, okay, I'm going to tell the story. She nailed an interior designer for $37,000 in a sale. And we're like, how did you do this? This is amazing, right? What does everybody want to do? Find interior designers, right? Find the art buyers, find the people that are putting art in a hotel. She's like, oh, it's really interesting, actually. The designer's daughter had been following me on Instagram for a year and a half, and she told her mom. And that's how the sale happened. And it's like, okay, so go ahead and repeat that one. How are you going to design? How are you going to design to systematize that one? And the larger point is you're not. I've seen this my entire career. The only way to get there is to continue to market consistently. And it just keeps going up, keeps going up. You attract more of the entire bell curve, but yes, you get more of the high net worth individuals. And I mean, yes, there's some things you can do with messaging. And you know, we've got a kid. I call him a kid. I'm in my 40s now, but he's 26 years old. He did, I have to follow up, but 2 weeks before Christmas, he was at $245,000 for the year. One of the things that he does is he will not show his work unless it's in like $1.5 million house and above. No chance, right? So there's little things on the fringe that you can do like that to like set the positioning of how high quality and how high caliber your work is, but you still have to do the marketing, right? So there's visual cues that you can give that says, hey, this is high end, you know, this is a really nice product, but don't worry about the discounting, don't worry about the sales, and don't worry about just targeting, you know, individuals. It's a lose-lose. And let me tell you, I've tried, right? I've encouraged customers to contact 250 interior designers a day for a year straight. And while it worked, it doesn't work as well, as effectively as doing everything that's required of good, consistent marketing to grow a business and then just staying at it consistently all year. So it's the clearest path in my estimation. Oh, it looks like you muted. Probably have to unmute again. I realized I went on a
Thanks. And so my follow-up, so thank you for that information. Following up on that, what I'd like to know is how it is that the marketing group works, the marketing agency works. And also, you said at the beginning that you can change the pictures of the walls that you put your art on.
Yes.
So relating to this 1.5 million question.
Yeah.
Any
which way you want.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
So is that in every level of the pricing, or is that only in the upper tiers?
No, in all of them. Well, in all of them. Check me on that, because I'm never 100% sure, because I don't know all the ins and outs of it. It's like I got enough going around in my brain. But you can, when you request a demo and they call you, you can just needle in on that immediately and say, hey, Patrick didn't know, and they'll tell you instantaneously what the scenario is. But Alan, you're the perfect use case. Like, what if the last 10 to 15, 20 years of the great level of success you've had, where would you be now if you actually had that collector information and you could market to him directly, right? Like, exactly. That's the game. And you know, I see it year in and year out with my buddy Laka that I should, but also with others, which is, yes, his job is to market consistently, right? Yes, his job is to constantly go and get new customers, but my goodness, his job really, for him especially, is cultivate your audience of collectors, which is a much smaller group inside of his group. But every time that guy comes out with the new series, he emails the collectors, right? The collectors see it first. And a collector, by definition, I would say, is people are really going to buy 5 to 25 year pieces over the course of your life of selling. You have a long-term relationship with them. They love what you do. Your prices go up and they just stay with you for the ride. And it's like, that's like the ultimate stability in a business. How big is your collector list? Because you're going to be creating for the rest of your life. You're going to be selling for the rest of your life. That's one of the awesome things about being an artist or photographer. It's not usually a switch. I was an accountant. I had a midlife crisis. I'm changing my career, right? Like, no, people come into the business that way, but once you started, you don't ever want to stop. It's like some sort of creative switch you can't turn off. So, you know, if you're in a position, this is why I love where the industry is going, where you can start cultivating those collectors. They'll be with you for life. You know, it's such an important aspect of it. So it pains me to know that wasn't the case in the past. And look, there's a reason that galleries don't give you their information, right? It's the only thing they bring to the table, are those folks. So yeah. Was there another question in there? I'm sort of out of source.
No, that's good. Thank you.
Okay. I appreciate it. Okay, it's going to go Alice, then Phil. Go ahead, Alice. I'll let you know. Yep, you got it.
Rick,
Hi.
a quick question. I'm older and getting out of the film business, which I've been in for 40 years, and starting my watercolor career.
Okay.
And I want to paint. So I wanted to know, what is the fee for you all to build a website, and then the marketing agency for you? In other words, what's the cost of you guys doing it all?
Yeah, it's a good question. What if you took every single service available? You know, I always use this analogy because I think it's important. But if Alice was in the film business and now Alice wants to be an artist, okay, well, let's take it out of art context for a second and say Alice was in the film business and now Alice is going to own a McDonald's, right? If you were going to own a McDonald's and let's say I was your advisor, I would want you to know how to open the shop, work the registers, do the ordering, do the drive-through, flip the burgers, the fries, handle all of the various different aspects of that business if you were going to own it and then you outsource it, right? So I say that it is, you know, you could get snowed, yes, but you also wouldn't know what you were doing, what was being done on your behalf, like saying you just wanted to write the check for everything. Now, I say that conceptually because I think it's important to say, right? Like you're gonna enter into this new business. I do want you having some base level understanding of these various different things because there's going to be times where you need to do them yourself. It's just a part of doing business in today's day and age. That being said, you know, like we do have people that come in and they're like, look, this is the next stage of my career. I had a good career before. I really want to pour some gas on this thing. What can we do? And you know, you have a ton of different options. You could pay. I mean, what would you invest? I mean, you could probably invest up to $50,000 in the first year if you were really hammering it hard. But there's a lot of incremental steps along the way, and you would want to learn some of it. So I would say, you know, when you're just getting started too, and people hate hearing this, but I'll say it because it's truth, and I don't like to beat around the bush. It's going to take you with no social media following. No one knows that you do this. No email list. 3 to 5 years to build a solid business. That's how long it takes. And by the way, just about any business is that way. Right? Everyone thinks it's like, you know, you get launched and fish are just jumping in the boat and a business is like a light switch. You flip it on and you're just raining in the cash. So if you had the perspective and you're like, okay, I'm going to invest in it and do it, I would talk to them and come up with a plan. But I would really want Alice to learn some basic marketing to understand how to flip the burgers and, you know, at least understand that. So that's what I'd say.
Okay.
It was an extremely vague answer because I don't know what the right answer to the question is, but yeah.
Well, I read in your literature that it was $500 initial fee, and then like $30 a month or something.
Yeah. So the initial, I don't know what literature that was. I think it was something that was written like 8 years ago. So the cheapest plan is $1,000 down. And again, you know, everyone's like, why the $1,000? I don't understand. Why aren't you just like every other web service? Yeah, there's a reason we're not like every other web service, because if people just signed up for $29 a month, what they would do is struggle, not put the website fully together, and quit after 6 months because they have no buy-in and they have no reason to do it. We sort of apply a, yes, it's the art business university. Yes, you're paying for a tuition. Yes, you're paying for a tuition at a college where the learning never stops. There's no graduates because you're constantly learning, right? But also, it's a burning the boat scenario, right? It's a cross the river in the boat and then burn it. The $29.99 a month websites, you can just cross the river on that boat, not see what you like because you didn't get the success that you wanted in 3 months or 6 months, and get right back on the boat and come back. Not with us, you can't. We get you for $1,000. You're like, okay, I'm going to make this thing work. I'm bought in, right? I have some money on the line. And so it works really effectively that way, like insanely effectively that way. So the cheapest plan starts at $1,000, and it's either 49 or 39 or 59. I honestly don't even know the numbers. I should, but that's why we do the demo thing. Like when you
and then marketing.
Yeah, say it again.
That's for building the website and marketing.
Yeah, the $1,000 down, like whatever plan you pick, you're essentially paying your tuition to the college that never ends, right? And then you have your normal monthly website fee. But what's also really cool too, though, is once you're in. There's no nickeling diming once you're in there, right? Like if we come out with 15 new features, the 15 new features are just on in your account. You don't pay anything for it. And we're constantly advancing the product too. So, you know, there's not a lot of products, not too many products that you buy in at one level, and it just keeps getting better and better and better and better and better, right? More bells and whistles. And I don't mean just like, yeah, oh, they're updating the product. No, I mean like substantial changes to how things are done on the inside. And you get to just ride through the benefit, and that's how it goes. So again, like, you know, it's hard to be in my position and do these presentations and not like feel like, am I just some sort of like sleazy sales pitch guy? Our business survives if we have successful customers. Our business thrives if we have successful customers. That's all we care to create. I see your hand, Kathleen. Don't worry, I'll get you. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Okay. Well, I pre-registered, and so someone will be calling me
Yep.
about the demo.
Yep, and ask them all the prices, poke them, prod them. They have all the answers and know all the numbers. I would just stumble on them. So.
Okay. Well, thank you, Patrick.
Yeah, and congrats, Alice, on closing out one good career into the next. I love it. Okay, Kathleen, I'm going to get Phil first, and then I'll get you, and then I'm going to come into some of the chats. Go ahead, Phil.
Okay, can you hear me?
Boy, do you have a radio voice. People tell me I have a radio voice. Okay, people tell me I have a radio voice all the time, and boy, can you hear me? You just blew me away with that one.
Okay. I'm kind of familiar with Peter Lick's operation,
yes.
and I don't think he discounts either. In fact, he is so grossly overpriced that you have to wonder how he succeeds to the level that he does. I know he recently closed his gallery in the gallery in Houston, and also the one in Dallas. Of course, he doesn't advertise that, but his operation has shrunken considerably. So there's that. The one question I have for you, though, is can I incorporate just the shopping cart? The shopping cart, the presence to the customer, the offering, the way it's organized, the simplicity of it is just amazing to me. And I'm very familiar with WordPress. I do all my own web development. I do Elementor. I do everything myself because I was with Squarespace and Wix and Photo Shelter, and they were all deficient in one way or another. And so I just said, screw it. I learned it myself. And so I don't need the website. I could probably use some of the marketing, but I definitely am attracted to the shopping cart. Is there a way to simply retain the use of the shopping cart?
Yeah, easy. Yeah, you could just do store dot boom, right? Like
store dot.
Yeah, so you would, it's not a program. I mean, let's say it's philhawkins.com, right? And you would just grab a subdomain, call it store.philhawkins.com, and link to the shopping cart directly from WordPress as you see fit.
And the cost is the same?
Cost would be the same, yeah. I think we have a whole bunch of stuff. It wouldn't change. Like if you're doing pretty presentations and you've got a ton of blog posts and it's getting you organic traffic and you love having full control with Elementor. I'm a Thrive guy myself, so they're the same system. I know what you're talking about. You could do it all day. The minute that it is the potential for credit card time to be out, you want them off WordPress and you want them on ours. And there's a whole bunch of different reasons for that, right? We have a ton of different features behind the scenes that will blow WordPress away. They can't compete. Just the visualizations, and then also we've got, I don't ever talk about it because it doesn't usually resonate with most
that
people.
Cell phone thing too is really, really something. I've never seen that anywhere else. That's very cool.
Yeah, it's super cool. But again, it's a golf club, right? Like every once in a while you need the 9-iron, and when you need it, you have it, and it'll help you make the shot, get the thing over the line, right? But we also have like this crazy proprietary cookie, and you're a web guy, so I'll get it. And we wrote it from scratch, and the easiest way to explain it is, it's like if you had a video. And this is not for you, Phil, it's for everyone else, because I know you're a web guy, you're going to get it instantaneously. But contemplate walking into the Apple store, and your website has a video camera in the upper corner of the Apple store. And let's say Thomas here walks into the Apple store. He looks at a Mac. He looks at an iPad. He looks at an iPhone. He buys the iPad, and he leaves the store, right? Our system instantaneously alerts you, hey, Patrick, Thomas just came into the store. He looked at this Mac. He looked at this iPad, and he looked at this iPhone. He bought the iPad, and it'll populate automatically for you text. We call it Art Buyer AI. And the text will say, hey, Thomas, thanks so much for coming into the shop. I really want to thank you for your order. Just to let you know, I know you were also interested in the iPhone and in the Mac. And we do some special bundling, especially for first-time customers. So if you'd like to talk about that, I'd love to open up a conversation. And then there's a little button that says send it, right? And now you can edit the text, and I'm just making that up on the fly. But that pops in every single solitary day into your dashboard, and you're just like, okay, that one, boom, send it. Okay, that one, boom, send it. So there's a number of features that you're not aware of that are really helpful in the art selling process. But the short answer is yes. That's how I would do it in your case. I would.
And where can I find some of your discounts?
Good question. We're pretty much always on sale in one capacity or another. Although we are raising prices, I think, at the end of the year. Not on the base plan. The base plan.
So you don't discount either, then?
No,
right?
we do. We totally do. We discount all the time.
Okay.
So if you find out, I guarantee you we have a sale running right now, end of year sale or something along those lines. But that was really interesting data point on Peter Lick. I'm going to look at that and see if that's truly the case.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you. And if you do sign up, you're gonna I will give you a discount for special podcast appearances. 1 hour bi-weekly with that voice. For sure. All right. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you.
I mean, he could be doing radio jingles. Okay, Kathleen, you're up. You have to hit the mic icon. Yeah. Did you get it? I think you got it. Yeah. Go ahead.
I got it. I used to sell through galleries, and I cannot build a website.
Yep.
So how do I get started with you?
Yeah. So you'd be one of the ones that would leverage. All you have to do is just send our people a folder with the images and the description, and tell them what text you would like on your About Me page, and they would build the entire thing for you. And I think, inside baseball, anyone watching, just get on the phone with them and start haggling and be like, I need you to throw in the build my website package. Okay. I did not hear this from someone named Patrick on any calls, but I need you to do it and see what you can do. Because they have some leverage and the ability to be able to offer it. But that's what I would do in your case. Just, done. Then you can just get into the market and you don't even have to stress about any of the website nonsense. Especially too early on, like everyone spends months and weeks and if I just get this right, if I just get that right, that is the least important thing. All you need is your stuff on the site. Once it's on the site, can I take a credit card? Yes. Time to start marketing. You do not have a website problem, right? So, yeah.
Okay. And where do I find the phone number?
So April will put a link in the chat. If you can see that, we'll also email it to you. But what you do is you go onto our website and there's like a request a demo button. You just click that, fill it out with your information, and then someone from the outreach team calls you.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. You're old school. She went with the old school hand raise where she was waving it at me, which I really like. Which I really like. I appreciate that YouTube comment, Alana. And Kimri, I'll get to you in the other one in just a second. Okay, Catherine, go ahead. You're up next. Catherine Stern. And you'll need to unmute. I'll let you know when you get it. Mic, bottom left-hand corner.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Good work.
So I have a website.
Mhm.
I like the website. I have not actually sold my work.
Yes.
And part of that was on purpose. I wanted to keep the work to show it.
Mhm.
And then I wanted to create posters or prints or other collateral. So this actually sounds really perfect. So I'm interested in using the website I have, having it move over to your site and to talking to somebody about, what they see and what they don't on my website.
Yes. So you've only sold it in person? Is that what you're saying? You are?
Yes, but I really have chosen not to sell the originals.
Got it.
It's a pretty specific market. The work that I've done, that I've shown, and it was supposed to be in a couple more places, except that, of course, everything's shut down, is specifically for the Judaica market. So the marketing is
So when you say Judaica, does that mean it's Christian art?
No, Jewish. Judaica is Jewish.
Judaic. Oh, Judaic. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Yep.
So there's a market there of and
Oh,
the work.
you better believe there's a market there.
I wanna.
Notwithstanding the religious context of it, like the religious verticals are niches too, and they are fantastic niches. Niches.
Yes, but all of my work speaks to cross-cultural. That was the intention.
Yep.
Oh, it's Judaic, but it doesn't have Jewish stars and rabbis with payas running around.
Yeah, I get it.
But what I have not done is marketed it, nor had this kind of an opportunity. I heard about it from a friend who signed up. And so I really do want a phone call with somebody.
Yes. No problem.
Okay.
You can request a demo. The link is just right there in the chat. You just hit that link, fill the info out, and they will call you.
I think I already did. So
we'll follow up.
I think
then.
I've already filled out the info. I've already sent in the website, and I'd like that phone call.
Okay. April, will you follow up and just make sure that Catherine somehow didn't slip through the cracks? She'll look in our database. Sometimes things go wonky with the form.
Right. Because the work I checked other, I got an email saying, well, this might be for you.
Yeah.
But the reality is that although the work is other, I have professional images that are meant to translate.
For sure. We will get to the bottom of it. If you did other, that might have, who knows? We'll if you put the right number in, we'll follow up with you. We have your email. Either way, we'll make sure someone reaches out.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks, Catherine. And just as a final, like, I love diehard niches. And like, look, I'm Christian. Okay, I've spent some of my life working in the Christian industry, and I've seen it. And we have artists that paint Jesus that do just like extremely well. And sort of the abstraction there is not to get wound up in the religious aspects of it, but you need to have a diehard niche. Okay, a niche where people love the subject material, right? And I always use the analogy of like, you're creating art, it's not selling, right? And it's not selling because you have a niche where there's 10,000 other people doing it. Or, we have the gal, shout out to Muffy, all of her art is just clothing hanging on clotheslines, right? Probably not a massive diehard amount of people that want laundry lines on their walls. So she's going to always have a small niche. And so it's amazing when you approach it and you think backwards and say, instead of saying like, I'm going to create this work because I love it, I'm artistically fulfilled by it, I enjoy it, right? Which is what most people do. And then they try and go and sell it. There's a tremendous amount of merit. The smart marketer potentially says, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go and find a niche where people are extremely diehard and passionate about it. And I'm going to go and create work for them. Case in point, Green Bay Packers fans, okay, as an example, it is said by their body weight in Green Bay Packer related swag and fingers and cheese heads and the jerseys and everything else. So it's like, okay, there's a diehard bunch of people. I'm going to go and create Green Bay Packers art. Now, you might run into some licensing issues there, but the analogy holds true, or the story does. Like, it's a fantastic way to start with diehard demand and work backwards. And the religious verticals are very much that. So I love those verticals. I love the pet verticals. A little bit harder to navigate, but there's a tremendous amount there too. Yeah. Okay, on Facebook, Kimry's getting a little bit, says I'm talking about galleries in a negative fashion. I'm not talking about galleries in a negative fashion. I like art galleries. I love walking into art galleries. I don't like the relationship of a 50-50 split and not keeping the customer data. But guess what? If you're providing that leverage, that's awesome. What I encourage everyone on our platform to do is to think of the art galleries as the gravy, right? It's on top of the main dish. The main dish is a situation in which you are owning everything, you are owning your customer list, and you have the ability to market to them in perpetuity. And it's got nothing to do with galleries, me saying that is the most important thing that an artist or photographer needs to do, because you don't need to look at any further than the pandemic. You have a huge business that's going incredibly well. The galleries are doing great. All of a sudden, all of them are shut. From no fault of your own, all of your revenue sources were just taken off the table. You can't afford to be put in that type of a position. You cannot only be reliant on the galleries. That's just a recipe for disaster. So, Kimry, trust me, I'm not knocking art galleries, right? Like, we encourage everyone that if you're doing well in one, absolutely stay in one. Do everything you can to stay in it and keep it going. But not in lieu of building your own audience, right? And not putting your eggs all in one basket. That's what I would say. Dina says, I was told that you don't get the AR and the mock-up features on the least expensive plan. That might be true, but you can upgrade at any point in time. So, you can upgrade, downgrade at any point in time. So you can get a site, start in on your marketing, start developing some traffic. Once you have some traffic, have some sales, you can be like, okay, it's time to go and get the next feature. That's what I would say. What else is in the chat? Is it good for artists that want to focus on selling original art plus maybe prints and cards, but not the other options, not prints? Yes, Debbie, you can totally do that. Yes, we have some very good and successful photographers, artists that only sell originals, but I don't want to say I don't like the idea, but what I don't like about it is hard enough, okay, to make it in this business, period. if you are limiting your product offerings for whatever reason, I sort of feel like it's going into a fight with one arm tied behind your back, right? Like, I want you to have as many different revenue opportunities as possible. It's why we added the merch. A lot of people look at the merch and they're like, ugh, can't stand that stuff. I couldn't imagine my art on that. It cheapens it. And I get that. I totally understand that. But it's not my job to worry about that. My job is to give you as many different opportunities to make revenue from your creative ability as possible. And we're never going to stop with that. We just added puzzles. We just added gift cards, and we added calendars, and we're now working on the best photo books. And the larger idea is like, you guys are inventors. You are creators. You have a talent with a brush or however you're doing your art, or with a lens, right? And so why wouldn't you want to be able to monetize that creative ability in as many interesting ways as possible? And so our job, again, is to empower you guys and give you as many opportunities as possible. So can you make it just doing originals? Yes, we have a bunch that do, but I don't like the sense that, like, I'm only doing originals. Well, how do you know? Have you tried to sell prints? And did your customers tell you, I will never buy another thing again if you offer prints, right? Like, a lot of people just put up those mental roadblocks. And again, I'm not accusing you of this. I've reps and sets. I've been doing this for a long time. But like, put up these mental roadblocks. Like, I'm not going to sell prints. It's going to cheapen my work. Like, I'll never sell my stuff on metal. And yet metal is one of like the hottest growing segments in the entire industry. And so if you have an opportunity to be able to make those sales on those other mediums, why wouldn't you do that? Number one. Number two, price point variability is a real thing. Go back to my example of the bell curve. Starts down here, curves up here, ends over here. If you just have originals, which are all high price point items, okay, and let's say, I got to get it so I can actually draw on the screen. I think I can do that. I'm not going to do it. I don't want to figure it out right now. But if you only have prices that are like $2,500, $3,500 and above, and you're doing your marketing, well, there's a whole bunch of people that can't afford that. They can't afford that, but they love what you do. So why not have a product that you can sell to them, right? The merch answers the question at the very low end of the spectrum, but I mean, the merch is merch, right? Like, you sell a lot of it to make money. But the prints, there's very good margins in the prints, right? And sometimes, like, hey, I have these $250, $350, $450, $550 price points, and then I also have these $2,500 price points. That is a more balanced store, and it's going to give you greater revenue opportunity. So that's how I think about it. But you're certainly not married to that, right? You don't absolutely have to do that. That's what I would say. Annie, so how do you get traffic? We teach you. We teach you how to market and grow traffic to the business all year long. Sort of covered that in the beginning of the presentation, but we teach you, and we don't ever stop teaching you because it's the most important thing that you could possibly be doing, period, right? Bunny was asking me about what tools do we suggest? Yeah, we have a whole list of tools. As soon as you get in, we give step by step all the ones that we think you should be using, and then our customer base are always finding out some new tricky and clever ones, that help you do mock-ups or help you do this or help you do that, and are constantly sharing that, in the Facebook group. But we have our bread and butters that we recommend for sure. But yeah, I think that's it. Any other questions? Could be anything. You can raise the hand, throw it in the chat. I'm happy to get to them. Again, I think we have some pretty serious new features, new initiatives coming out in Q1. And so we are going to be raising the prices on the middle and top tier plan, not on the bottom one. So don't worry about the bottom one. So, if you're just finding out about us, no worries at all. We'll be around. We do these things 3 days a week. We've got a free podcast that's really good. We've got a free live show called Art Business Warnings. Going to record one of those tomorrow. That's going to be talking about 2020 and backwards, and then the next one, 2020 and forwards. What you need to be looking at, focusing on, and yeah. But if you're ready and you're serious, you should request a demo and at least have a phone call and know what your options are before the year ends, which is coming up pretty soon. But I think on that note, guys, thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. It was fun, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. And we hope to see you again soon.